If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Today we are continuing on with our Laravel e-commerce series, and I want to finish up the cart system, the checkout system, and the very last thing that we need to do for this is to remove the quantities from the database. So this is the first item that we have in our database, this woman's hoodie, and this has a total of 6 items. So I'm going to put 2 here, and then I'm going to add to cart. So now if we go ahead and take a look at the database, as I said, this is the first woman's item, and we have a quantity of 6. But if we go ahead and refresh this, this is still going to say 6. So what I want to do is I want to set it up so that it isn't until a user completely checks out that this quantity is reduced. So let's head into the text editor and try to get that sorted. So if we head into the checkout controller, and here we are displaying in the store function right here. Here we are looping through the contents of the cart. So what I want to do is, under this product variable that we have here, I want to say if product quantity is less than the item quantity. This product quantity is what's in the database, and this item quantity is what we're getting from our request from the front end. And in this if statement, I want to have another one that says if product quantity equals 0, then I want to return response with errors, and it's going to say, sorry, item name is no longer available. Please remove the item from your cart. And then I want to give a 400 response. After this if statement, I want to return response with the error, sorry, there are only, and then I want the product quantity of item name left. Please adjust the quantities in your cart. And again, this is going to have a 400 response. So again, if the product quantity is less than the item quantity, so for example, if the product quantity is 6 and the item quantity that we are looking for from the request is 7, and then within that statement, if the product quantity equals 0, means there's nothing in there, then we want to return the response, errors, sorry, item name is no longer available, please remove the item from your cart. And if that's not the case where the product quantity equals 0, then we want to say, error, sorry, there are only 6 items of this name left. Please adjust the quantities in your cart. That's all that this statement is doing. So now we can continue on. If none of that happens and we are able to add this item to our cart, then we want to attach the product quantity to the item quantity for the order products table. And then the product, we want to decrement the quantity by the item quantity. And then if all of that has gone through successfully, then what we want to do is destroy the cart. So our shopping cart has a function for that. We want the default cart, and all we want to do is destroy it. And then everything will proceed as normal with the user invoice and the mail. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Now, I believe I had this in from a previous test, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And then I'm going to leave this as it is. We have 2 in the cart. Let's go ahead, refresh the page, secure checkout. So we've gotten our confirmation, so everything on that end looks like it went through. In the database, we're going to go ahead and refresh this table. And as you can see, now we have 4 in the database instead of 6, which we originally had. The other thing is if we go to a different page, say we go back to shop, you see that that cart is now empty. There's nothing left in the cart because we've run that function. So the reasons for these checks to be like this is if we have 2 customers, 2 different parts of the world, they each want to purchase this product. It's only in the situation if one checks out first and removes that item from the quantity, that's really the only time that you would run into having to address these errors. That's our quick check for that. That's all done. We've removed our item from cart and now we can move on. So now what I want to do is I want to log out from this user and then I want to create a new user. And then I want to go to the dashboard. If we go to our orders tab right here, you can see we have my orders and there's nothing here because this user hasn't purchased anything yet. So we already have something that we can use to handle this. If you remember back when we were working on the shop pages, there's one image that we have when there are no items for the category that we're in. We're going to use that same image for this page. So if we go to our resources, JS, pages, shop, index. This is the image that we have coming through, which is the droids image that we have. Site images, droids. It's this one right here. These aren't the droids you're looking for. And this is the exact same one that we can use. It's the same concept that there's nothing there for you to see. So I want to go ahead and grab this. I'm going to copy it, and then we're going to go to our orders index page. And if we head up to where we're displaying the my orders and we have all of the orders listed out, I'm going to just shrink this all down. And then I'm going to put a template. Well, I'm going to do 2 templates. And this template is going to say vif orders.data.length equals 0. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste in that image, which means that we can take out this vif products length from here. And then we'll open up this template and we'll do velse. And then everything else we can grab and put in that template. Let's take a look. Cool. So in our my orders, now these aren't the droids you're looking for. There's nothing else here. Now that we've done that, we can actually use this to create a component so that we can use this in this orders page and we can also use it in the shop page. So I'm going to go up to the components folder that we have here and I'm going to grab any one and duplicate it. And then I'm just going to call it no items found.view. Okay, we can get rid of everything in here. Well, mostly everything. We can get rid of all of these links. Everything in here pretty much done. And so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this little bit of code that we have here. I'm going to put that in this component. Okay, so now in our orders page, we can just do no items found, and if I'm very, very lucky, that will import it, which it has not. It's funny, it worked when I was testing and it doesn't work now, but import no items found from components, no items found. Then down here, no items found. Fantastic. Let's go and also put this component in our shop page. It'll be the shop index. So here we're just going to do a template and we're going to grab this product's length vif conditional and we're going to put it in here. Then we're going to add no items found. And then we can go ahead, close this up or get rid of it. And this already has a velse, which is fine. And so let's go ahead and import that component down below. Okay, let's give this a spin and see if it works. Go ahead and refresh this page. Okay, so it still works in here. Let's go to our shop page and let's try to add a category in here. Okay, we'll just copy this one. Just call it something else. Okay, so go. So now we have this make-believe category with no items in it because we just created it. Go ahead, refresh. Okay, as you can see, it's listed here. And we still have our image. Fantastic. So the next thing that I want to do is we have Suite Alert working in here, and let's say we add something to cart. You see we have it styled, it's come down a little bit. Everything is great, but the problem is this. I can close this no items found. I'll keep the shop page open for now, and we'll close the shop page and the orders page, and I believe it's in the cart index. Okay, as you can see here, we have some toast notifications in here, which is absolutely fine. The issue is, even though it's perfectly fine to have this in our pages, this style function right here, I generally don't like doing that, especially if we're using styling in other parts of the app, which we are. We go to the shop show page, you see that we're using the exact same thing down here. So instead, what I would like to do is I would like to cut these out. And I want to go to the CSS app.css page. Okay, and this is where all of our styling is. So I want to go ahead and paste that in. And now that means we can remove this from here. We can remove it from anywhere else that we find it. Let's see, I believe it's in the cart. Okay, so we can get rid of that from here. And that's pretty much it. I don't think we have it anywhere else. Yep, sure do. Okay, so in the ordered totals component, get rid of it from there. Icons we don't, footer we don't, confirmation we don't, but I'll leave this open because I do want to do the same thing for these. Let me check this cart items. Okay, we don't have it there. Buttons, we don't have it in the buttons. So now I think we've taken them out of everything. Let me check the app layout, main layout. Okay, open that back up. And that should be good. Let's go ahead and give this a try. Okay, we'll try to save it for later. And as you can see, it has not saved for later. And the reason for that is because Suite Alert, it has its own classes. So what we would need to do to address that is to go ahead and add an important flag in here. And generally, I don't like doing that. But in this case, it's okay because it's a very small application that we're using, and it's not like we're breaking a whole bunch of other code in order to be able to get it to work. So let's try this again and make sure that that works. Okay, let's move it to cart. Okay, we have our styling back. Okay, still good. Let's try to add a... Okay, cool. So we still have our styling. Fantastic. I think I've gotten all the pages, but if you do find any others, you can also take them out of there. I think I got it covered, but in case you find any more, feel free to remove them from the other pages. We can do the same thing for the confirmation page and grab all of this stuff and also bring it into this app.css. But for this, we don't actually need to add important to it because it's not really overriding anything. Okay, let's go ahead and remove this. And I think that's pretty much where we had that print function, but let's go check it out. Okay, and that print function was for this button right here. As you can see, we have our styling the exact same. Everything is fantastic. We're good to go for that. The next thing that I want to do is We go to the shop page, add another item to the cart, and head to the secure checkout. I want to do the same for this credit card right here. We can pull out the information from that as well. So confirmation is done. Order totals, where we have styling. I think it's in cart, checkout, index. Right here, this styling here, we can grab all of this and bring it out. I'm going to put it right above this media print. Okay, so that's from the checkout. We can grab that, delete that from there, do the same thing from checkout, where we're displaying the same style. Okay, and I think that's everything. Let's check that out. So right now, if I do, okay, so that's the styling that we have. Let's go back and refresh it and make sure that we still have that. So we still have our styling. Fantastic. So now the very last thing that I want to work on is I want to condense the routes. As you can see here, we have a decent amount of routes, and we are going to have some more because we have some other features coming. So I want to go through these step by step and try to break this down so it's not as many. Right now we're at 71 lines, and we're going to try to see if we can bring that down a little bit. The first thing that I want to do is, since this welcome controller only has the one function, something that we can do here is get rid of all of these. We're not using any of them except for the one, okay? And this is something that you can do in your projects. Once you get to the point where you realize that there's only one function in the entire controller that you're going to keep, you know that for sure, then this is something that you can kind of do early on. I usually like to wait until I'm further in to know for sure if that's going to be it, usually when I'm towards the end of a project, but we can go ahead and do this now. So Laravel has a method of doing this where we can use a public function invoke. And all that's saying is that this one function is going to be the only function for this controller. It's a single-use controller. And now we can take all of this stuff here, and we can put it in that function. And that's pretty much it. And now we can get rid of the request because we're not using it, and everything else we are using. So we do need to change this up in the web route. So now this is just a single function controller. We no longer need this index right here. And that's it. That's something you can do for your other ones. There is one thing that I want to do. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a bonus for you. If you take a look at this index function right here, we're injecting cart service, which is perfectly fine if that's what you want to do. But let's say you wanted to use this cart service anywhere else in any of the other functions that you have. One easy way of doing it is to define it up here. And we saw this a little bit when we were dealing with one of the services. We're defining the cart service up here. So that means we can do this cart service equals cart service, which means that now we can remove it from the function here. And now all of these instances of cart service will now be this cart service. And this is a pretty useful feature. We used a lot of services throughout, and this is something that you can do here too for the other ones if you so choose. But I just wanted to show you that there is a way of doing that, and this way you don't have to repeat it throughout the whole controller. You define it right up here, and then it's accessible to the rest of your controller. Also for this welcome controller, I want to change display a listing of the resource to display welcome view. And that should be good. So now we can close out the welcome controller. We can close out the checkout controller and continue on. So now we have this shop section right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just bring these up. And we only have 2 routes for this, which is perfectly fine, but we can now make this one route. It's going to be a resource route. And it's going to be shop because, as you can see, for these routes that we have, we're using shop as our first entry. Then we can do shop controller, class, And we only have one parameter that we need to be wary of, and that's the product slug. But for us, instead of using product, we're going to call it shop. And then we use the product slug to fill in that parameter. And then we're only going to be using two of those functions, which is the index and the show. So let's go ahead and comment these out, and let's go and check out this new route. So it's the shop index and the shop show page. Okay, let's go and check and make sure. Okay, so this shouldn't be here, this bracket, and we'll get rid of that. And let's see if that clears up that error. Okay, let's go ahead and open up our inspect, because now we have a brand new error. Shop.index is not in the route list. Let's check the route. Okay, index. Okay, so this index should be, close that off, open that one up, and now let's try it. It's just it's just me fighting with the commas again. Okay, cool. So we've got our checkout page back. Let's go and check our welcome page to make sure that that still works. And it looks like it is just fine. Okay, and so let's go to shop. So our index is working and our show is working, and we haven't touched anything else. Fantastic. So now we can go ahead and get rid of these two lines in here, and let's straighten this up a little bit. And now we have a whole grouping of routes that we can adjust. I am going to go ahead and start the first one, which is going to be a resource. This resource is going to start with cart. We're going to be using the cart controller and the class. Then we're going to have one parameter, which will be cart. And for that cart parameter, we're going to be using the product. And then we're going to say accept. We're going to open up an array, and we're not going to use edit, and we're not going to use create. That is essentially getting rid of all of these 4 lines right here, because we're going to be using the other functions, the index, store, update, and destroy, but we are not going to be using the edit and create. So we can go ahead and comment this out. And then for this one, we're going to make a route with the prefix of cart later. We're going to name it later. It's going to be a group function. Open that up. And then we're going to go ahead and bring these up and start cleaning them up. So now we can get rid of cart from here. And then I want to take this one and I want to drop it down to the bottom. And now we can get rid of this later, because we are prefixing it up here. And the name for these routes is going to have later in them anyway. So we don't need them here. We're already injecting it from up here. That's a nice tidy little group. Let's go ahead and refresh and make sure that our move to cart functions are working. Go ahead, refresh. I'll keep this open in case we get any errors. We'll go ahead and add it to cart. Okay, Mens4 has successfully been added to cart. So let's try to save for later. Okay, it's successfully been saved for later. We can move it back to cart. Great. And let's change the quantity. Great. So our cart functionality seems to still be working. Fantastic. Now we can do the same for the coupon. Let's head back and let's go ahead and get rid of these 4 lines now and make some space here. Let's go ahead and clean this up here. So now for the coupon, we can just make a route resource coupon controller. And for this, we need a parameter, which is called coupon. And then we'll just go ahead and leave it empty. And we're only going to be using the store and the destroy functions. Before we use that, let's go ahead and comment this out. And I want to show you something in the route list. This basically just gives us a list of all of the routes that we have. If you check out the post and the delete, which are the two functions that we're using for coupon, we have coupon store, coupon destroy, and these are the controller functions, and everything is fine and dandy. But if we try to comment these out, let me go ahead and get rid of this for a moment just so you can see what I'm talking about. And go ahead and run that same route list. You see that the coupon, Laravel already inserts a parameter, and we don't need that parameter because we're not using it. So we kind of need to fake it. And this is the best way that I found. If you have another suggestion, I'm willing to take a suggestion. But for me, that's the only thing that I found to actually fix that so that I could keep this as a resource route. But I'm always willing to take suggestions as long as they work across the board. So let's give this a try now. So let's try removing it first. That seems to work okay. And let's try the other coupon that we have. And so now it's been applied. Fantastic, it still works. Great. Now we can go ahead and get rid of these two lines. Now the checkout seems to be fine. These are the only two routes that we have for them, so I'm not going to worry about them too much, but we'll clean this up so that it's one line. Let's look here and see what else we have. Let's first bring this up and clear this up. So the first thing that I see here that I want to take care of is that we have two sections here that have the exact same middleware on it. So what I want to do is I want to condense these. In order to do that, let's go ahead and create a controller for this, just like we did for the welcome. So we'll do PHP artisan, make controller, and we'll just call it dashboard controller. I won't make it resourceful or anything like that because we're just going to be using it to display the dashboard page. This is essentially what we need. Let's go ahead and copy this. Let's go ahead and open up that dashboard, wrong one, dashboard controller, close this. So we'll do the same thing that we did for the welcome page, which is just to do an invoke. And I can close this. So for this invoke, I'm going to go ahead and paste this in and good to go. Let's go ahead and import Inertia, and everything's the exact same, so that dashboard should still work. Let's go to the route and fix that. Right up here, I'm just going to put it right up here. And the name again will just be dashboard. And let me make a space for that. And now we can go ahead and get rid of this. Let's go ahead and check that dashboard page. Our dashboard is still appearing the way that it should. Fantastic. Now, everything else seems to be fine. We can leave checkout the way it is, and we can leave my orders the way they are, but we can change this invoice. Again, we'll make it a resource, invoice, invoice controller, class, and the parameter is going to be called invoice. And then we need to pass in the order confirmation number to be filled in for that parameter. And then we're only going to be using the show and the store. Close that up. Okay, let's go ahead and comment these out for now. And then let's go ahead and take a look at those invoices and make sure that those are still working. We've made it to this page, which is fine. View invoice, which is fine. Print invoice. We have our printed invoice. Fantastic. So now we can go ahead and get rid of these two. And let's head up top and make sure that we can get rid of some of these imports, which is pretty much just this one. And that's good. We've managed to make 71 lines down to 54, and that's always a good thing. We do have more routes to go in here, but at least they're nice and clean and tidy for us to work with. Now, before I forget, there's also one little issue that we have, and I want to clear it up now so that we can have it work correctly. As you can see, we have an item in our cart. We are not registered or logged in or anything. We can do that now. Go ahead, register a user. And head back to that cart. So we have the item in the cart, but we have our discount here. If we go ahead and check out, everything is successful. We have our confirmation. Let's say we go back to that cart. The discount is still in here. We haven't cleared it from the session. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Let's go to the checkout controller. And after we destroy the cart, we can do if session has coupon, then the session, we can just go ahead and forget the coupon. Let's go ahead and try this. Refresh. Go and add an item to our cart. We still have the coupon in here. So we'll go ahead, secure checkout. Okay, we're brought back to the confirmation, so everything worked okay. Let's go ahead and check the cart. And as you can see, our coupon is no longer in the cart. Fantastic. If you're enjoying the content, please go ahead and click that like button, as it really does help out the channel. I'm going to leave links in the description, including a playlist, so that you can catch up on all of the videos in this Laravel e-commerce series. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.